All right, so it's my pleasure to introduce one of my favorite people in Juneau ever. So Mr. Craig Dahl here is currently the Executive Director for the Greater Juneau Chamber of Commerce. Prior to joining the Chamber, Craig was the President and Chief Executive Officer of Alaska Pacific Bank, where he had for nearly 22 years of his 42 years in banking in Southeast Alaska. So please help me in welcoming Craig Dahl.
Are you done stretching? They're not? Okay. So good evening, everyone. I am Craig Dahl, and I'm the Executive Director for the Juneau Chamber of Commerce. And it's my pleasure tonight to serve as your MC for the pitch contest. Now, Brian didn't want to tell anybody this, but actually he had Mark Zuckerberg scheduled to do this. And then Mark called yesterday, late yesterday afternoon, apologized to Brian. He was buying Italy. And so Brian did what every good business person should do when you're in a pinch. He called the Juneau Chamber of Commerce. And here I am. And my fee is a lot different than Mark's, which is free. And so you get what you pay for, Brian. What can I tell you? So this is actually the third year that we've had the pitch contest, and the second year that we've done it as part of the banquet and the evening dinner. And I think it's going to be a great event, and I'm going to have a little fun with it and see some amazing ideas. So we're going to have 3 judges this year, and I want to introduce the judges and ask if you'll stand and wave at everybody, because we have no idea where Dana put you. First of all is Margaret O'Neill from the Juneau Economic Development Council. Margaret, back there. Lucas Brown from Geeks in the Woods. And Alan Johnston, who's the Chief Encouragement Officer for the Entrepreneurs and Mentors Network, Inc. Alan, where are you? There he is. And actually, Alan was a judge last year. We had a lot of fun doing the event last year. So please give them all a round of applause. Now, the star of tonight's event are actually our pitchers. And before we go through the rules and all that process, let me introduce Harry Venata, who will be pitching Phoenix Food Distribution. And I'm going to ask you, as I introduce you, to come on up and take a seat. And you'll see these seats are very specifically identified. There's 3 good ones and 2 not so good ones. So you take your pick. Homina Curiel, who will be pitching Tundra Tonics. And I'm going to let everybody read their description on the app on these. Jake Carpenter will be pitching Wheelhouse. Tasha Webster, she'll be pitching FitMood, the future of self-empowered health. Michael Wheeler, he's going to be pitching the Alaska Food Network, fresh produce and grocery items for all of Alaska. So come on up, Michael. And finally, Alicia Zhang, she'll be pitching Alaska Bell Box. So you get the special seat on the end, is that right? Okay. Now you can read all about everybody's resumes are on the app that has been part of the Innovation Summit throughout the process. So please take time to read those. So here's how this is going to work. We have 6 pitch contestants, and we call them, as you might imagine, pitchers. And so we're going to give each pitcher 5 minutes to tell us about their idea. If they exceed 5 minutes, a trap door will open and they will disappear. After their 5-minute pitch, we're going to let the audience come forward, and we would ask, Dana, where's the microphones? Where'd Dana go? Dana just disappeared. This microphone here? Okay, if you say so. So we're going to give the audience 3 minutes. If you have questions that you want to ask each of the pitchers, we would ask you to come forward and pose your question, and ask you to keep your questions pretty concise. Do not ask them about their 3-year marketing plan. and because we're going to try to get as many people through in that 3-minute time period as we can. After you've heard all 6 pitches, we're going to ask you to vote for who you decide is the winner of the contest. And you're going to vote for a first place, and then the count will determine a second place. You've all had the chance to buy $10 tickets, and I know Sean's been over there waving them in the air. And if you haven't already bought tickets, please do so. And if you want to buy more, please do so, because that's how you're going to cast your votes. There's no limit to the number of votes that you can buy, so as they say, vote early and often. Now, after you've heard the pitches, you'll please vote. Dana and her assistants are going to move through the audience and pick up your ballots. And then once the votes are counted, we'll be announcing the first and second place People's Choice. So what do they win? Well, first of all, cash. Whatever you contribute tonight will add to the fund, as well as these following members of the Juneau Chamber of Commerce contributed an additional $1,000. So Avista AEL&P, Hecla Greens Creek Mine, Wells Fargo Bank, and Valley Paint Center contributed an additional $1,000 to go to the prize. The first and second place will actually split the cash, but the first prize is going to receive an Alaska Airlines ticket. Thank you to, no, it's not Delta, it must be Alaska Airlines, right? So thank you, Casey, you're out there in the audience, and thank you for contributing in that Alaska Airlines ticket. All 3 of the judges have also agreed to meet tomorrow with all of the pitchers and give them a private session and comment on their presentation, talk about their ideas, and give them some suggestions. So those are the basic rules. We're going to get started, and I assume the video is all keyed up. Again, 5 minutes for your pitch. And we're going to go in the order of Tasha, Jake, Homina, Alicia, Harry, and Michael. And so we'll go from there. So first up is Tasha.
Hello, everyone. So as he stated, my name is Natasha Webster, and just a little quick background. FitMood started at the TechStars event in Anchorage last November, and we got 3rd place there, so it was an awesome experience. I met a great team, and we're still moving forward, and we're here now. So FitMood is essentially a Fitbit for your brain, to try to give you a little visual. It's essentially the first app built to really try to analyze and log the data that connects our mind, our body, with our environment. I really felt like the environment was a big factor when you're dealing with certain individuals, particularly individuals with migraines who are now our core target audience. A lot of times we don't really know the lighting and the measurements of sound and things like that in our environment, but a lot of times we'll assume or we'll make judgment that is sometimes subjective. And then also we do Dr. Google to try to figure out like a connection with our symptoms. But essentially FitMood is an app built for the Apple Watch that will help us in those times. So the key component is this button with a purpose. So you may know someone with an Apple Watch or with a Fitbit or something that they use to log and just track their sleep and things like that. But this button with a purpose will essentially allow you to press the Apple Watch, and you'll be able to get a snapshot of what was going on with you physically and also in your environment, just at the press of a button. The goal is to log what happened prior to you pressing that button, 1 hour, and then 1 hour after, to try to see if there are some correlations with the lighting, the sound, and maybe your heartbeat and things like that from the leading up to that event or that trigger. And again, as I stated, we're addressing individuals with migraines to start. So if you have this pounding migraine, you want to really be able to understand, is it really the lighting? Is it really the sound? You want to be able to try to come up with a better understanding of how your environment is affecting you. So imagine, there's a lot of beautiful men and women in here, but migraines are essentially really affecting women. 1 in 5 women will suffer from a migraine, And if you can imagine, if you're at a table with 5 or 6 women, one of you guys are likely to have issues with migraines, and you're still trying to figure out a remedy. How do you address those symptoms and things like that? And we want to really address those. If you see this meme, it talks about how you have all these symptoms, all these things going on, but there's nothing available to really pinpoint and really address how, again, your environment is affecting you. So as I stated, migraines are very prevalent. It's the 3rd most prevalent illness in the world, which is something that you really don't hear about as often. Every 10 seconds, someone in the U.S. goes to the emergency room complaining of a migraine. So if you can only imagine, we've been here for quite a while, having fun and just like letting loose about innovation and things like that. But while we've been here, quite a few individuals have reported to the emergency room to report their migraine, and they aren't always able to articulate what led up to that event. The biggest problem that we saw was the current digital health. Though we have a lot of innovation in the technology, they don't address the environment, and they don't give you that data that correlates with your symptoms and your anxieties and the things that go along with your physical ailments. So again, our solution is FitMood. We want to address and associate our physical ailments and kind of give ourselves a little bit more self-awareness and verifiable data that will prove essentially if the lighting is really affecting us, if it's the air pressure, and all these different correlations, and provide this in a nice, user-friendly way to our users. So again, the technology is already there for us. We just have to use it a little bit better, use it more effectively to provide us more informed decisions and more informed information. This is our first prototype of the app. We just recently did an awesome design sprint with Launch Alaska, and that kind of got us on the track of focusing on these individuals with migraines, as we feel they'll benefit most from the different environmental factors that we are measuring. It's very easy. Someone will create a user profile. You have a how-to guide right after that, and then you start to track and log the intensity. Where on your head was the migraine affecting you? Where was it most prominent? And another symptom that these individuals struggle with is like nausea and vomiting. So we can correlate all these different things and eventually provide it to them in the form of data, in summary form, and also in chart form. This information is very, very valuable when they present to their providers. You may go into your session, but you only have maybe 10 or 15 minutes. Doctors are busy, they have other people to see, but if you can provide them with this data, essentially, along with your verbal reflection of your events and your symptoms, then they can at least use that time a little bit more valuable and effectively and give you a better understanding of maybe what treatment remedies will be benefit for you. So our competitors, technically we have, the biggest competitor is Migraine Buddy. They're cool, they have an app for that and all that, but they're more focused on manually logging. As I stated, we want to focus on a button with a purpose. A lot of complaints from individuals who suffer from migraines and anxieties and other things is when you're going through something, the last thing you want to do is get on your phone with a bright light and have to log it. You want to be able to just do something convenient, press your Apple Watch, it'll log it for you essentially, log your trigger, log your environment, log your heart rate and all those things, and compile the information so it's more beneficial to you when you're trying to, again, self-diagnose or connect with your provider. And our competitors also don't integrate these sensors into their apps that allow you to log and do these things. Everything is, again, manual, and it doesn't go so far as to really address the whole person and their environment.
I'm told time's up.
Okay. Thank you, guys.
Yeah. So, questions? Please come forward if you have questions. Danny, do you have another microphone in the center of the room? Yes, you do. There's one back there. Go ahead.
Hey, I'm curious if you have a value proposition.
Yes. So our value proposition essentially is very user-friendly. We want to focus on just providing this information to the patient in a very precise manner, and to also implement, like I stated, the environmental factors, your light and your sound, and different things around you to see how they associate with your symptoms.
So how are you planning to actually make money off of that?
Oh, yes, the money, because it matters. We plan to make money off of FitMood essentially by app downloads. We will start with a subscription model. We want individuals to really see the benefit. So we'll start with a free trial, but then after that, you will pay for a monthly subscription. That will range from $2 to $6, depending on how elaborate you decide to kind of track your information. We will have levels to that subscription model as well. And then we also have data analytics. We want to provide this information to providers, to data scientists, to other people that may see this as beneficial as they also work in the same field.
We have one more back here.
Yeah, so what's your ask? What would you like us as an audience to be able to do for you?
We would really, really appreciate assistance in continuing to prototype. As I stated, we just did a design sprint with Launch Alaska, so that really helped us kind of get on track. We have a mock app available now. However, we are still conducting interviews, and we're still seeking this assistance and resources in getting the prototype and getting this app out there for individuals to download as well.
Okay, very good. Thank you.
Thank you.
So Jake, you're up next. Can you see how the hook works? Yeah, I got it. Okay, all right.
Good evening. My name is Jake Carpenter, and before I get started, I thought I should do a little bit of history on why Wheelhouse got started before I tell you all about what it is. Wheelhouse was started out of the Otis competition, which some of you may have heard about, which is the Ocean Technology Innovation Sprint, and that brought a whole bunch of people together from Alaska to talk about what Alaska's economy looks like in the future as we move away from the energy economy that has been the nucleus of our economy for a long time. We move back maybe to the ocean, which was Alaska's sole source of sustenance for time immemorial. That's where Wheelhouse got its start. Wheelhouse, just to break the ice, is an app, and I'll tell you about it in a bit. But first, I want to tell you a little bit of a story about Casey. Casey is a story you've probably heard. She's 24. She's just taken over her family's gill netter. Her family's been gill netting for over 40 years in Alaska. She grew up on the boat, and she knows how to run it with her eyes closed, but hopefully she doesn't. Running the boat isn't all it takes to run a business, and she's learning that quickly. As many of you know, once you start running a business, you wear many hats. You have to not just be a captain, but you have to be a CEO and a marketing officer and a counselor, and you have to hire people, and you have to fire people, and you have to work on the boat, and you have to cook dinner. And all of this aside is different when you're in Alaska because you only have to do that for around half the year, and you have to figure out how you're going to survive the rest of the year. It's been a long time since one good haul kept you fed throughout the year. Wheelhouse is dedicated to Casey and people like her. It's dedicated to developing Alaska's most valuable resource, which is its people, but also its communities. It's about finding opportunity, and it's about connecting people with those opportunities. And it's about sustainability from a community standpoint and a personal standpoint, but also an environmental standpoint. Who are we? I'm Jake Carpenter. I'm one of four. I'm the business guy and also an app developer. Claire Neaton is our marketing and ops person. She's also half of the Salmon Sisters, if that name rings a bell. Perrin Teal Sullivan is our designer and also education course research and design. And Reed Wiley Lane is an electrical engineer and a data and statistics expert who is heading up the back end of our product. The problem in Alaska, and this number is actually old, there are 45,000 Alaskans directly involved with our ocean economy. There are hundreds of companies, I think actually 3,000 companies that make the majority of their revenue from the ocean. And there's more than just fish in the ocean. There's shipping, there's tourism. All of these people hire Alaskans and those from outside, have to train them and prepare them, and may not even know what trainings those people need. And once they have trained them, those people may move to other companies, and it's hard to keep track of the training. That's the problem, and it's an expensive problem. In Alaska, some companies have a 25% turnover every year, season to season, and they have to retrain 25% of their workforce every year, and it affects the bottom line. The solution is an app. That's a solution for everything these days, right? But Wheelhouse, at its very basic, is a smartphone app that uses the modern smartphone technology that we all have in our pocket to provide people with modern, up-to-date, and high-quality educational curriculum, connect them with mentors and other people that are doing the same curriculum, sort of a community-building aspect, and also to track their progress and to chart where they're going in the future. We think, we think that Alaska is uniquely poised to use this kind of educational tool. While more than half of our population is in a few cities, the rest is spread over an area much larger than Texas, and it doesn't have access to the latest and greatest. So things like artificial intelligence, AI, machine learning, VR, virtual reality, and augmented reality can actually be really valuable tools so that people don't have to leave their homes to go learn the skills that they need to do the jobs that may even be in their community. And that's why we think we're the right solution. How do we plan to make money? With apps, that's a really common question. We like to say we plan to make money the old-fashioned way, by charging for our product. We have two revenue models which we're pursuing, or I shouldn't say pursuing, we're investigating. We have a consumer track, which is that we sell our curriculum directly to the consumers who complete that curriculum and then have access to mentors and jobs working with employers. So the employers receive a vetted employee who has done at least the bare minimum, to get the training that they need to start a job, and the person who's taking the course has a portable skill that's not tied to one employer. It's tied to them. They can take their app. They can take that knowledge anywhere. The other option that is something that we're really sort of leaning towards at this point is the B2B option. The companies in Alaska that have thousands of employees that need to retrain them, and that's the other way we plan to make money. I'll go over the competition really quick since I might be running out of time. He's pacing over here. Right now, people get their training on the job, industry-specific programs, or from formal college and universities. Where are we at now? We have an app, we don't have a curriculum, and that's what we're asking for help with developing: connections and money. And thank you.
Very
That's
good.
my presentation.
Very good. So I have a question while they're getting to the first mic. So who's on the other end of that instant chat and resource?
So that's a very good question. The model that we're looking for right now is a cohort model. So everybody who would, the model that we're working for now is a cohort model. So everybody that uses the product in the month or the first quarter of 2018 is part of the 2018 cohort. So when you ask a question, it's messaged out to everybody else that you are communicating with, and also previous people who have taken the course. Obviously, a new app doesn't have that network, and so we have experienced fishermen that we're working with, and we plan to form partnerships with organizations to actually find legitimate mentors for these people.
So what you're saying is, though, you could ask a question and I might be the one answering.
That's correct.
Okay, just saying. Questions?
Thank you. Just wondering, is this Alaska specific, or would this have a market around the country and other places?
That's another good question. I think it does have a much wider appeal, but we feel like Alaska is a great place to prove the technology, and Alaska is such that people in this room are connected all over the state, and in a meaningful way I can ask questions and really get the feel of an entire state. So we build an excellent product here, and then we find industries that it's easily portable to outside of Alaska.
So I'm actually a little confused. Is this app that the employee would be buying, or would this be an app that the employer would be buying?
Yes. So we have these two revenue models. Option A is a future or prospective employee buys that to gain access to a pool of jobs or a new skill set or further advancement. Option B is that a large company who, for example, does batch hiring in Seattle of seafood processors and ships 400 of them up on Alaska Airlines to start working in a week, they can train their seafood processors as well. And I should mention that our first course is a seafood quality processing course.
Very good. Thank you. Omina, do I have that right, or did I mispronounce it?
It's close. It's Hamina.
Hamina.
Yep.
Okay.
Thank you.
You're on.
Good evening, everybody, and thank you for being here, making this event possible. My name is Hamina Curiel. I am the owner, operator, and sole employee of Tundra Tonics out of Fairbanks. Hopefully these will just play automatically. It is a random smattering of photos from the Instagram account, just sort of showcasing what it looks like and also some creativity and humor. Now, in as little as the last 20 years, I think the world has actually experienced a renaissance in terms of technological and conceptual innovation. And that is an amazing thing, obviously. One of the most salient and positive consequences of that is a complex new scientific literacy that attends nearly every product we encounter. The problem is that a lot of companies utilize predatory marketing techniques on an ill-equipped customer base to convince them of things that are not going to happen. So now's a good opportunity for different standards to come onto the scene. And here we have Tundra Tonics. Let's see if this button does that. Oh yeah, there we go. So Tundra Tonics was born in a dog musher friend's cabin one cold night. Without conversation, she just threw a magazine at me. And there was a picture of something similar to this, and I fell in love. It is raw apple cider vinegar with the mother, and basically whatever vegetables and herbs and things you want to put in. So it's a tincture or an infusion, a 5-week one in this case. All of my recipes are made with all those things. I'm tempted to say it and not force you to read it, but I'll just give you a second to read it. There are a few other recipes that also have things like hibiscus, lemongrass, blue butterfly tea. If you have not heard of that, I think you'll hear of it more. It's a pretty wonderful little tea. It's a beautiful blue flower and goes well on many things. And I also managed to use wild ingredients like rhubarb, spruce tips, things like that. And occasionally, there was dill from Ann's greenhouse up in Fairbanks, and through most of the warm months, I used sage, horseradish, and jalapeno from the Arctic Roots farm up there as well. To backtrack to before, I left my job with about $100 to my name. I moved in with some friends in Fairbanks to a dry cabin and lived in a room that I still cannot stand up in because the roof is too short. And I went to the Fairbanks Farmers Market. And only selling 2.5 days a week from May to September, I managed to sell approximately 1,600 bottles. There has never been more of a demand for products like these, sincere products with actually wholesome ingredients that are what they say. This is just a little bit of humor, of course. That was scotch taped on there. The magazine I picked up from the transfer site in Fairbanks. I love collecting things like that. Everything's an opportunity. So currently, last year was the experiment. Everything went great. It went 0 to 100, more than I could have expected. And this year, I'm ready. There's about a dozen different stores right now that want me on their shelves. I just got an email from the DEC today in Fairbanks. I'm pretty close to being done with that process, and soon we'll start wholesaling and online sales. There's all the way to Mammoth, California, and places in the East Coast I plan to reach. So that is really about the extent of that. I don't want to continue and just go on and on and on. Oh, are we back to the beginning? So not very many pictures there. Let's see if I can go back. Too late. So finally, in an inescapably personal way, Tundra Tonics for me, I would like it to be a landmark for the LGBT community so that they see that they do not have to ask anyone's permission to succeed. Thank you.
Questions? Here we have.
What will Tundra Tonic do for me?
I get that question a lot. And a lot of things that people think, it's going to help me lose weight, it's going to do this, it's a probiotic. Probiotic is technically true, but I have a secret to tell you. Fiber is more important than guzzling buckets of probiotics, except for the rare few people who simply cannot make the probiotics. It's not necessarily bad for you, and I think a healthy fizzy drink alternative is just a fine thing. But vinegar and onion and garlic and all those ingredients are rich in a number of micronutrients, things like aromatic oils, and compounds that are being researched very actively, even things like horseradish. Not exactly what you would look for first in a superfood, but they have incredible things going for them that typically, historically, affect things like blood sugar control, blood pressure, and also kidney stone formation is kind of a major one. It really is very effective against things like that because it is raising the pH in the urinary tract and making it harder for those stones to form. And there are some other things as well, but I would like to get third-party testing done in the future to see exactly which terpenes and compounds are present and in what dose. Those things are important and typically glossed over by many companies who put products like this out on the market.
Hello, hey. So you said you had pre-orders done, or there are stores who want to order your products. How much money do you need to fill those orders?
Could you say that again, though? I really couldn't hear you.
How much money do you need to fill the orders that the stores that line up?
So right now I have about a barrel of product that I have been lovingly laboring over this winter outside of my day job. I sold as late into the year as November at some holiday markets, and things went really well, and now I'm just preparing for this year. I'll be at the Anchorage Weekend Farmers Market, and then I will have someone running a table up in Fairbanks and a third person running other events. The thing with this is I started it from basically $0. It scales up on itself very beautifully, but I am looking for, I don't know what the exact number is, anywhere from a few $1,000s upwards are the things that would make this year go from good to great to Grand Slam, and also to a professional standard, and allowing a production value that I would really like to add into the presentation this year.
So what is the serving size? Because the ingredients in there aren't the most appetizing to drink. Is it like a shot, or do you drink it like, a normal beverage?
That is a good question. I was actually going to sneak that in earlier and forgot. You treat it the same as vinegar. The pH is very similar, so also it is a shelf-stable product at room temperature for up to 2 years. Things like that, you would treat the dose the same, depending on your body size and where you're at. Some people, diabetics, for them, they split the dose, one in the morning, one in the evening, typically not more than 1.5 ounces, which is a standard American shot. I put it in my sparkling water every morning. There was a picture of I used the Perrier water and the Bordeaux and things like that. I also get creative, put it in cocktails and Bloody Marys and things like that, but for all practical purposes, rice and foods like that, and you can really do just about anything you want with it, but generally in your water in the morning.
Very good.
All right, thank you, everybody.
Let me make note, Bloody Marys, got that, okay. Alicia.
Hello, everybody. My name is Alicia Zhang, and my company is Alaska Bell Box. And the product I'm going to be talking about is our subscription box. Each box is filled with 6 to 10 lifestyle items for women, all of which are curated and handpicked from Alaska small businesses, female-owned small businesses, makers, and boutique owners around the state. The goal of LBB is basically to inspire, support, and connect women across the state of Alaska, both professionally and personally. My goal is to basically reach every single woman living in Alaska. Analytically, I'm reaching an audience between the ages of 25 and 44 years old. Initially, I started out thinking that this was only going to be an Alaska thing because of all of the Alaska businesses that I have partnered with and the products that go into there. But as we put out the website, I realized that with all of the fast-paced momentum and outpour of support that I have gained, that I have been reaching women across the country. Another audience that I have a goal of getting in front of is tourists. My story, so to give you a better idea of who I am and my background, I am an Alaska transplant. I am from a very small town in southern Illinois. I moved up here in 2009. I have 2 small boys, and I have a background in digital marketing and advertising for working on an online newspaper. I also own Spa Blue, a very small spa in Anchorage. And then ultimately, over the last year, Alaska Ballbacks has really manifested for my personal recovery of long-term domestic violence and ultimately almost losing my life. I realized that there was a need to help and support women and small businesses and basically female-owned businesses, and I wanted to do so by creating a platform to talk and reach out and network online, and then also supply women with amazing products that most of which I didn't even know were out there. My go-to market strategy was we've only been around for a couple short months. I launched the Instagram first and then the Facebook shortly after. It's been overwhelmingly positive. I'm just blown away with the vendors and the women in Alaska who are buying this product. We launched kind of a bare bones website just to get something up so that people could link in. And then after that, we offered a pre-sale offer for a limited amount of time for a limited amount of boxes. In the meantime, between all of that, I looked for 8 social media influencers who are going to be receiving the box and the products within for free, and then basically pushing it on social media throughout their blogs and their social accounts. That went out a couple weeks ago, and it was an amazing success. We also pre-sold over 100 boxes, which we ended up having to turn off, and then going to the normal price, and then also offered an annual option as well. Funding-wise, we did a Kiva campaign. Kiva is a national organization. They approve you from anywhere from $0 to $10,000. I sought out $5,000 and was informed that Alaska Ballbox was one of the fastest funded campaigns to ever go through the Kiva organization, generally taking about 6 weeks to fully fund, and we fully funded in 5 days, a little less than 5 days actually. Some of my current needs would be to expand the website and create that platform that I was talking about, and then obviously procure a large amount of boxes. I have to shut off my launch box right now because I can't keep up with the demand. The boxes are expensive, and then at the same time, the more boxes that you order, the less expensive that it gets. And then obviously, I would like to develop an inbox magazine that will also transition to content that would be on the website as well. And then obviously some paid advertising. Everything that we've done thus far and the support and followers that I've gotten social media-wise and the vendors that have partnered with me, that is all organic. I've maybe spent $100. I had an advertising agency take me on pro bono. So this is really just been the success that it is from the support of the women in Alaska. So yeah, that's basically Alaska Bellbox. So whether it's for yourself or if you have a special woman in your life, go ahead and check us out on Facebook and Instagram and the website as well. There's a very powerful mission behind it, and you are supporting local businesses and female-owned boutique owners and makers around Alaska. So thank you.
Very good. Keep it coming. Oh, wait, you don't get to go away. So questions?
confused of what's in the box.
So lifestyle items for women, it ranges from apparel, jewelry, beauty, beauty cosmetics, skincare, bath, home accessories. In the launch box, we had, in our prototype box, I should say, that went out to those influencers, we had a mug that was monogrammed with an initial. We had, instead of saran wrap, it's called bees wraps. It's from a gathered grain in Girkwood, so you could wrap up a sandwich in it or just use it as a bowl cover, that sort of thing. There was jewelry from 2 different businesses, Elm Designs and Simply Stranded. And then we also had the Mountain Men of Alaska calendar in there. And then, yeah, it was nice. And then we also had, so we had these little pouches which could be used for makeup or really like pencils and pens, whatever you would want to put into it. And then, I mean, it's just a variety of things, useful seasonal items, basically.
So would the content change from box to box?
Yes, the content changes from box to box. There's supposed to kind of be an element of surprise. I do partner spotlights, so I spotlight all of the vendors and suppliers that I've been partnering with. And then I'll also do little sneak peeks. I know a lot of these influencers, I told them not to reveal everything that was in the box, but they have done their unboxings and went live on social media to showcase all of that. So, and because it's only 4 times a year, the box, it allows me to give really more expensive, higher quality items, so nothing is of sample size. It's all full size items. And it does, yes, it's kind of seasonal as far as that goes.
Hi, really cool. I really like that you sold it first and now you're fulfilling it. That's really a good way to go about it. What's your profit margin expectation on each box? If it's $60 for the box, how much are you making off of that?
Right now, I'd like to, right now I'm shooting for a 50-50, so one of the things that goes into my negotiations with the vendors is that inbox catalog, and then all of the social media. So not only are they giving me a wholesale price and or at cost price, but they're getting a lot of advertising and just kind of word of mouth from me. And then eventually, as I expand out my website, I will be linking in their sites for, you could go on and buy the product via me. So kind of a marketplace that links over to them, and then special ad placements. One of the things that I am doing for Springbox is the cover of that Inbox magazine. I already have a number of my vendors really just trying to beat out each other just to get on the cover of it. And they have little write-ups about what's in the box and things along those lines. So a 50-50 right now. Obviously, I've only been around for a couple of months. I just put the Instagram out in December, so I'm still kind of learning as I go along. But it's been, yeah.
So one more.
So great presentation. So imagine I was an investor and I wanted to give you $350,000. Like, how would you spend that money to scale so that you can actually produce enough boxes to actually make a return on my investment?
So first of all, I would obviously, I'd make that purchase order for the boxes, because the more boxes I get, the cheaper that those boxes go. But obviously, in today's marketing world, content is key. So not only am I offering this subscription box, but at the same time, I want to offer a content platform. So you can go in and log in. There'll be product spotlights. I'll link in with all of the bloggers around the state, all of the small business owners, that sort of stuff. So expanding that website. Eventually having video on there, and just making it into this just massive content platform, basically. And then long term would be to do a men's box, because throughout my process of research and list making of all of the female-owned boutiques and makers around the state, there is a lot of stuff out there for men too. So expanding the box, and obviously not call it the Bell box, but Southern Bell, Alaska Bell, but to expand it out to do a men's box as well. And then obviously a goal that is current, but obviously to get in front of tourists, maybe possibly on a smaller scale of a box, but to offer something for them to take Alaska home in a box, basically.
Very good. Alicia, thank you very much. Harry, it's your turn.
Good evening, everyone. My name is Harry, and I am an Alaskan entrepreneur. It took me a while to decide on this introduction because, you see, I'm not originally from here. I'm actually an inner city kid from LA that caught the Alaska bug years ago. I came to visit my sister, and I never left. It's a story I'm sure many in this room can relate to. I fell in love with this place. I fell in love with the people, and most of all, I fell in love with Alaska's abundance. The wild plants and animals were unlike anything I had ever seen growing up in Los Angeles. Preparing preserves from the wild berries became a beloved hobby of mine, and that hobby soon grew into a small business, Harry's Wild Berry Preserves. We sold out of our preserves here on the docks in 2016 and have been preparing for a larger sale this 2018 season. My small business is what made me start thinking big. I'm here today to present a new Alaskan business in its conceptual phases that will become a valuable link in the wild harvest distribution chain, Phoenix Foods Distribution. This is how the distribution chain currently operates for most wild harvest manufacturers. Here's a simple example of a manufacturer selling direct to customer. And here's the distribution chain involving a retailer. But Phoenix Foods Distribution would like to enhance the current chain. How is this new chain better, you may ask? Well, I'd like for us all to think of the manufacturer in this case as a pie. See, now every piece of the pie we take represents the manufacturer's resources and efforts. Okay, so when you take the pieces needed to actually manufacture the products, there's only so much pie left to then sell the products. Phoenix Foods Distribution, however, will not be manufacturing the products it represents, preserving all of our resources and efforts to reach more consumers with these Alaskan products. What kind of consumers will we market to? Here's an example of how many out-of-state orders are secured today. Someone who's visited or had the product and loved it, so they want more shipped. But imagine, folks, if someone from the exact same area who had never even thought of visiting Alaska was offered Alaskan alternatives. This is what we plan to achieve. Now, I know you're all thinking, Harry, how can you reach such consumers? The answer is simple. By utilizing tools such as targeted digital marketing or wholesale trade shows, these products can quickly become an option to these new consumers. We will also be marketing these products on a new, integrative, and innovative web-based storefront. PhoenixDistribution.store will only purvey Alaskan products with wild harvested ingredients to create a specialized and remarkable user experience. Now, I know we all want to know, how am I sure of a need for our service? Well, I was able to reach out to 3 potential suppliers, and here's some data I got. 3 out of 3 potential suppliers said they do not currently work with a food broker. 3 out of 3 suppliers said that we could add value to their operations. 1 potential supplier did say they were not really interested in ramping up out-of-state distribution. So that is something we'll encounter moving forward. But I truly believe with just 2 or 3 initial suppliers behind us, we can turn this innovative concept into a reality. One other thing, when asked if Phoenix Foods Distribution could represent their products, all 3 manufacturers answered, maybe. Here's the thing, folks, I will take a maybe because it's not a no. In fact, there's a 50% chance these maybes will turn to yeses. I'm here today to ask for all of your help. Help us to do more with Alaska's wild harvest. Help us to reach more consumers. Help us to raise more awareness. And help us to share more of Alaska. Thank you.
Hi, I'm just curious, what kind of products are you selling? Is it just berries and jams? Are you doing canned seafood? What all have you
That's a
been
great
able
question.
to encompass in your market?
That's a great question. And the more research I do into the market, the more products I find. I initially thought it was just jams, jellies, syrups, pickled products, but now I see that there's tea products, there's vitamin supplement products, there's tinctures. So the more we foster this industry, I believe the more products with wild harvested ingredients there will become here in Alaska. Next question.
Do you guys have a non-compete? So if two suppliers are selling the same thing, are you guys willing to offer both their products, or can only one person sell, say, a local jam and not another company?
I would like my initial suppliers to be non-competitive. So I'd probably start off with about 3 suppliers that did not offer, quite, such competitive products like 2 jam manufacturers. I would start off, like here I have Barnacle Foods that I surveyed, Alaska Pure Sea Salt Company, and Alaska Wild Harvest. Those are 3 different companies that have different products with wild harvested ingredients. Next question.
Thanks, Harry, for the presentation. So, why Phoenix?
Oh, that's a great question. Actually, my grandfather's company, based out of California, was called Phoenix Enterprises. It was a very successful construction company, so I named this company in his honor. I also believe that the metaphor of the phoenix can be used to describe our current food market, where there's a need for these products to kind of rise out of the ashes of our food markets.
We've got one more over here.
Hi, I'm a vendor of Food Service of America, and I've been with them for 10 years, and I can relate with your dreams. And anytime you have time, I'd like to talk to you. I'd like to help you to get in there.
Thank you very much.
It takes your whole dream.
Thank you.
It's hard.
I'll come see you right now.
Food Service of America, I will help you there. Thank you.
Harry, you need to be a little more optimistic. Oh, one more question. Okay. Harry, one more. Or I'll answer it for you.
Thank you. I really enjoyed your presentation over here. I really enjoyed it. I'm curious if you think you're going to be in competition with the tourism industry, right? Because they have a vested interest of physically getting people to Alaska. And if your product does kind of the opposite, right? Do you think it's going to promote the tourism industry just because of awareness, or is it going to do the opposite?
I believe that my initial suppliers will give priority to the sales involving the tourism industry, but a lot of these companies that I surveyed are already doing out-of-state distribution for reordering and such. So I believe the infrastructure is in place to do both, take care of the tourist industry and also foster out-of-state distribution.
You're good, thank you. Well, Michael, I'm sorry we're out of time. No, just kidding. It's your turn.
Hello, everybody. I'm Michael Wheeler with Alaska Food Network. We founded the Alaska Food Network. We started working on it in December of 2016. We went live in June of 2017. And today we have currently between 400 to 500 members. We serve Alaskans with fresh produce. How many people here are familiar with produce subscription boxes, by a show of hands? How many people actually get produce subscription boxes? Okay, great. We're hoping to expand that market a lot more. And with this, we're having to deal with a lot of different kind of logistics, as you can imagine. But our mission is to get a healthy lifestyle, to help facilitate a healthier lifestyle. It's like where we work in our facilities in Anchorage, right next to us, they do bypass. And one of the big things that we see a lot of is we see pallet full of candy and soda and all of these other things being shipped out to the rural Alaska constantly. And so we want to change that up. And that is what we're working on, and that is what we're doing. So there is a major competition here that's been going on for quite a while, Full Circle Farms. I'm sure many of you are familiar with them, or the Alaska version of that. But also we needed more diversity than what they were doing, because they were focused on organics only, We wanted to bring Alaska products into it, as which we've done by working with like Charlie's Produce. We started working with farmers directly at first, but we found it a lot easier to go with Charlie's Produce because they just redistribute the Alaska farmers' products. But then we also do other local Alaska products, such as the Alaska Flour Company, different chocolate companies, coffee companies, et cetera. And so we're going to be able to get that high-quality produce out there at a great value. Because that's the other thing that we run into is the logistics of getting these packages out is very expensive. When we start talking about the distribution and the cost of distribution on a single 15-pound box of produce that's going to somewhere like Point Pilot, that can get very expensive. And so what we need to focus on and make sure is that we're able to get a good value in that box and keep our prices down. We like to keep our prices competitive with that of Anchorage Fred Meyers. And so we're able to get that cost reached all the way out there because we know there's a lot of absorption that's having to happen on the shipping side of it for the individuals. I'm also currently working on trying to get some changes made with the DOT because another big issue we run into is things getting put on hold. There's regulations now that say people fly first, then next goes USPS mail. We want to change that around. We want to see fresh produce go first, not necessarily bypass, but produce. Why do you need to send people out to places where there's no food? We're talking about babies and infants and kids that need to get fed, and our produce needs to get out there as well as other produce options. We also work with broken case programs to where you'll have a lot of these stores throughout all rural Alaska and all over Alaska that they don't want to purchase full cases of produce. It's very expensive, one, but number two, the spoilage rates are too high. There's not enough people to go through whole entire cases. So we'll do half case, quarter case, and that kind of thing. And that's part of what we need help with now is ramping up that other side of it. Currently, we are doing full boxes to all over Alaska. Here again, we do about 80 to 85 different locations a week right now. Our numbers have come down a little bit over the holidays to about 150 boxes a week. Here again, we haven't been up for about 8 months. Our peak month, or our peak weeks, we're a little over 200 boxes a week. So we are getting quite a few of them out there. We need your help to go ahead and keep on things moving. We're at a break point with overhead and just with produce, with labor, and all this other fun stuff. As you can imagine, it takes a minute to pack, 200 plus boxes, as well as all the extra packing material that goes in there while trying to keep all of our numbers down and keep the best value going out the door. So we're looking to reach out to some of the native corporations, some of the state health providers to figure out some ways that we can get some good synergies working and the way we can get some backing. We're looking for different grants or we're looking for help to help take care of some of the transportation costs and see however maybe some of the native corporations can help subsidize some of the box costs to their members and just what other options we have. So we're looking to enroll some help from a professional grant writer to take care of that. And here again, we're also looking to help expand our overall platform. At the end of the day, this is about health education. And so first we had to get started on getting boxes out the door, reaching more people, getting people to understand what our program is. And what's going to come along with that we really want to back that up with is the educational aspect and build a full online platform as well as being able to get opportunities to go out to these remote locations, talk with people, and distribute more education about why it's so important to eat healthy, fresh foods and try to steer people away from the pre-processed, the sodas, and all those other kind of products. That's it in a nutshell. Kept it short. Questions?
Do you have an idea of how you're going to send this produce to these places when you're talking about education for, say, these rural communities on how to use these, and for especially the folks that need to be educated on how to prepare these foods? Is that something that you'll include in the box, like recipes or whatnot?
It is. We're working more towards that right now. We do it through social media outputs. We do it through our Facebook page and those kind of things. Of course, we did run into that. We've been to a handful of different conferences, and I've come across people that didn't know what kiwi was. And so they're just not familiar with that. Our box process is either a conventional or organic box, small, medium, or large, comes in 3 different sizes. And when I do that box build, I try to get a really good balance between fruits and vegetables, and then keeping the value together. It's like our small box has like 16 to 18 items while keeping it in a $25 price range. And so I kind of balance it all out that way.
On your map, it didn't look like you are servicing Southeast. Is that correct?
No, these are just the distribution routes that we're seeing here off of Alaska Air Cargo and Raven. They're, two of the larger transporters we work with. But no, we do Ketchikan. We're starting Juneau back up. We're working on starting Juneau back up. We had some problems with our site host here. So basically what happens is to bring down those shipping costs, we try to get a person or a company in that location to receive all the boxes for that area so that, because once we break what they call pivot points, I get over 40 pounds, then it starts to get in per pound weights, and I'm not getting like a $31 charge per box. But no, we have the ability right now, and we've mapped out over 190 locations throughout all of Alaska.
Hi. What's your customer retention like right now?
Our customer retention has been excellent. I want to say that we've been losing less than about 15% since we've started. And we find that most of the people that we've lost has been due to either they're moving or because people can go on hold. And so our cancel rates have basically been people that are moving.
Right
Yes.
here, yeah.
Hi.
Oh, me? Yes. You have 3 sizes of boxes, small, medium, and large. If I was to engage with your company, would I have an opportunity to either define what I want in my box or not? So for example, if I don't ever want you to send me okra, can I cross okra off the list forever?
We don't have that functionality yet. We're working with our software team that built our software to do that function. The way our box does work is before your box comes out, you're given a 3-day window to go in and modify your box online. And at that point, because here again, when I build the boxes out, I'm only putting in their fruits and vegetables. And so you can jump into the store, cheese, eggs, coffee, chocolates, Alaska Chip Company, Alaska Flour Company. You can add all those type of products, as well as you can shift the box down as low as $20 for the box. So if you have like a organic large box, you can say, no, that's not what I want. I want to throw in some conventional. I want to drop it down. So it's fully customizable.
Hi, right here. Right here.
Great, thanks.
Mine's kind of the same question. I was just kind of curious if it was like a pick and choose type box or if it's a subscription for like a surprise set of goods or.
Yeah, it's a subscription, and it's either weekly or bi-weekly. So you can get it one every week or every other week. And before the box comes out, you do get the opportunity to see what's going to be in that box and change it up. So, and also, we can have people cancel that box for that week if they're gone. And here again, you can put holds over time periods if you're going to be gone or whatnot.
Okay, one more.
Oh, 2 more.
2 more.
Our average cost on a box is $40. So our small boxes are going to be, it's 25, for conventional it goes 25, 35, 45, and then organic is 30, 40, 50. So.
How does your spoilage compare with your competition in some of the spoke communities? And do you actually take it the last mile to the homes of the people who have subscribed?
It all depends on where it's at. We do home delivery in the Anchorage and Valley, Palmer-Wasilla. Outward, farther than that, we don't. We're working on a process now, and here again, this is where we're looking for some more funding so we can work through some more of our problems. We're looking for what we call food hub coordinators, and that's where we're going to pay a little bit of money per box, which is kind of built into the cost of the box, to have an individual that kind of caters that experience with those individuals to get them to them. In regards to the spoilage, I've personally had to write some custom software for us that we have all web-based. One of it's an air tracker system. And so what happens is you get notification on when your box is headed your way with the airway bill. And then you can go online to our website and track to see where it's at, whether it's weather hold, what's happening with that box. We have had a multitude of issues with boxes freezing, different things going bad. We guarantee all our produce. So I've also built an online credit request form. And so what happens is if people apply for that credit request, we instantly go and we don't even question it, and we just credit those up.
Very good.
Excellent. Thank you.
Michael, thank you very much. So let's give a round of applause for all 6 of our pitchers tonight. I have to say there's really 2 levels to this. One, first of all, it just takes a lot of courage just to stand up in front of an audience and talk, make your presentation. And second of all, congratulations for stepping out as entrepreneurs, because the fact of the matter is small business of America is the backbone of America, and it comes from right here. So good job, and thank you very much. So at this point, you're all going to vote. You've all got a ballot or more in your hand. And so please take a moment, pick your selection. Dana and her team is going to come through and select and pick up the ballots. And at this point, Dana's going to correct me.
Not quite.
Oh, okay.
So my team is going to come. It would be best if you guys write down with the pens that you have at your tables who you want to vote for. They'll come around. You can put them in the box. While we're doing that, actually pleased to have these people here, these kids with the top hats. They're going to be doing their little pitch just to kind of like keep everyone entertained while we're doing this housekeeping.
So when does Brian get to come up?
And then Brian gets to come up and make the winning announcement. So we'll
Okay.
be out of here in 20 minutes, people. So
Okay.
stick
So
with
I-
it.
So I'm done.
You're done. Yeah.
All right, thank you. All right.
All right, so I know that this is a distracting time. Votes are really important, but if I can make sure that these guys that have been so patiently waiting through the evening and everyone else's pitches get your full attention for their pitch. My name is Rebecca Souza. I'm the STEM program manager for JEDC. I am lucky enough to have that job and get to work with students like these here that you're going to see. What you're about to hear is a pitch from Alaska's nominee for the first LEGO League Global Innovation Award. The competition is designed to showcase real-world innovative solutions that first LEGO League teams create as part of their season. This year, there were 193 first LEGO League teams across Alaska. They joined more than 35,000 teams in nearly 90 countries around the globe, all in solving the same challenge. They were to identify a problem related to water and come up with a way to solve it. A few examples from around the state. In Atkasuk, students were concerned about the sustainability of their current water source, so they're learning to fly drones to map out smaller water sources that can be tested for viability. If you go to Adak, you'll find a magnet in your rental unit with a simple message on it. Flush your taps before you drink. Never use hot water for drinking or cooking. First LEGO League students in Adak designed those magnets that were funded by the city manager to minimize guest exposure to lead and copper that's in the tap water there. And finally, in Juneau, you can enjoy Italian sodas and root beer floats at Copa through a paper straw instead of plastic, thanks to the influencing project presentation of the Eagle Bots from Douglas. First and the first LEGO League are just one way that JEDC is working to develop talent that's needed to drive and diversify our economy. We can do this because of amazing support from our statewide sponsors, BP, Alaska Airlines, GCI, and Alaska Communications. You heard from GCI exactly the reasons why they're choosing to invest in these students and this program. We're working with our sponsors, our schools, and our communities to find ways to engage our kids in learning experiences that are meaningful and give them voice. And with that, I'll let you hear from these guys here. Come on up.
Is this on? On. No, it's not on. Fine. Hi, I'm Steeg.
I'm Aiden.
I'm Kyson.
And I'm Sione. And we are Happy Day. Wrong line. We are a LEGO League team. First LEGO League is a STEM program that challenges kids to think outside the box. It's not just about building Legos, but it's also about engineering, programming, science, and solving problems through innovation. What I learned in LEGO League was to be confident and hardworking. I used these values when we worked as a team. What I liked about LEGO League was our amazing team building activities like dance party. Woo, woo.
What I learned through LEGO League is better ways to work as a team. Me and my brothers built an awesome snow fort in the front yard. Then it melted. This skill can help me in the future to work together with my wife. My favorite thing about LEGO League was cooperation, where we help other teams.
Our product development
helped me realize that my ideas can become a reality. This has helped me by reminding me when I work on my animations, my characters can come alive. This skill will help me become an animator. What I liked about our team was Word of the Day, where we said encouraging words to each other like jazz hands, kaboom, and high five.
I was accountable for the robot in Lego League. I took turns leading meetings. These skills will help me become a better leader by listening to others. I can use this skill when I organize games in my neighborhood. This will also help me when I become a police officer.
Woot, woot, that's the sound of police.
This year in the Hydrodynamics Challenge, we were asked to solve a problem in the human water cycle. We found out that dog poop contaminant is a global-wide issue.
Not again!
Oops. Did you know there's 83 million pet dogs in America? We learned from On Earth magazine dogs poop 10.6 million tons of poop per year. Some people think dog feces is a fertilizer. It's not. It's the law in many cities to pick up after your dog. However, the Family Pet website reports 40% of dog owners don't pick up after their dog. According to Amy from the Juneau Watershed Partnership, dog feces is the third on the list of contaminant drinking water. She also states it takes an average 1 year for a dog poo to completely break down. Did you know, according to the article, The Poop Problem, studies have traced 20-30% of bacteria in urban watersheds to dog waste? A single gram of dog poo can contain 23 million fecal bacteria, including tapeworms and salmonella and many more. On to you, Aiden.
Thank you, Stieg. Can we break down dog poop faster and kill all the germs too? Originally, our team thought using an antiseptic spray would work. But after talking with Juan Fabausch, we learned that an antiseptic spray would not only kill the bad bacteria, but all the good bacteria too. He explained the benefits of using bioenzymes because they are non-toxic and environmentally safe. Bioenzymes work when bacteria created enzymes break down the fecal matter into smaller bits so the bacteria can eat them like Pac-Man. Bioenzymes won't kill 100% of the pathogens, but they'll greatly reduce them for 1 or 2 weeks. At the Southeast Regional Competition, we introduced a powdered bioenzyme product that is packaged in a travel-size packet. But after talking with Aaron from BioCat, we learned that powdered enzymes may irritate some people's lungs. With the help from BioCat, our team created a liquid enzyme product called Poopygon, an environmentally safe bioenzyme spray packaged in a travel-size spray bottle. Now on to you, Sione.
Thank you, Aiden. Through further testing, we found that the bioenzyme liquid is evaporating too quickly in an open environment. We know our product works in enclosed, moist environments, such as plastic bags or septic tanks. We are researching how to slow down the evaporation process. We are currently testing different oil-based products and supersaturation. Both are looking promising. We need funding to further test our bacteria counts and safety. We are hopeful that we can develop our product to a point where we can sell it to the public.
We want dog owners to not only pick up their dog poop, but to use our product, Poopygon, on the residue left behind. But our product is not just for dog owners. It's for everyone to use on those stray piles of dog poop that plague our parks and trails. Eric from the EPA states that if we can limit the amount of poop near our water sources, we would not only be healthier, but we would decrease drinking water costs. We want to start a small business, but we need your help. We plan on doing it first locally, then online. Happy Dave says, shoot the poop.
All right, so that's a tough act to follow, and I think they're almost done judging, but I'll just be real brief then. My name's Eric Soley. I'm the co-founder and CEO of Attently. We're a small tech startup in Fairbanks. There you go. I was asked to come down here and just talk a little bit about our journey and how we got started. But first, a year ago, I was standing on this stage pitching as part of the Innovation Summit pitch competition last year, and I know from firsthand experience how challenging that is, and I think everybody here today did an awesome job and deserve a huge round of applause, so thank you. So one of the great things about these kinds of competitions is it helps you improve your pitching ability. And one of the things that we're doing as a company is processing video of audiences to help political consultants hone their messaging, to help event organizers know who to invite back next year, and to help pitchers in startups improve their ability to pitch. So we've been analyzing the audience tonight, and we'll be sending customized reports to each of the competitors after the fact to help them improve themselves later on. And don't worry, the data is completely anonymized, so if you were yawning the entire time, no one will ever know except for yourself. I was really also asked to come down and talk about our journey, and we started actually at a startup weekend. So if anyone's never heard of such a thing, it's a 54-hour event which is held over a weekend where teams form around an idea. You pitch different ideas, teams form, and you hack together on this to see if you can create a viable business model out of it by the end of the weekend. And this is something that real businesses are formed out of. And it just so happens, interesting plug, that Juno is hosting their first ever startup weekend here on March 23rd, I believe. And they're looking for people, anyone aspiring entrepreneurs in the audience. You don't even need to have an idea. You just need to be excited and willing to execute on some plans. And also anybody in the audience that knows aspiring entrepreneurs that would be interested in devoting a weekend to forming teams and hacking on a business and learning a ton about how to run a startup. So that's all I had. I think, Brian, are the votes tallied? Eric, you have to say something else for like 2 minutes. All right. So I can talk a little bit about how Startup Weekend went for us. I rolled in there with probably, all right, I'll tell you a secret. It was the greatest business idea of all time. And if any of you take it and run with it, I'm happy. I will buy one. It is an LED dot matrix display that you paste on the back of your car window, and it interfaces with an app on your phone. So you speak into your phone, and whatever you say is displayed on the rear of your car for the people behind you. I can't see how such a thing could possibly go wrong. However, we formed a team around it at Startup Weekend. The next morning, only one person showed up. So we realized like maybe we should pivot from this. And one way or another, the logical course following our keynote today was to come up with Attently, which is our current product that analyzes audience reactions to content. So that's the kind of thing that you can expect at a Startup Weekend. And again, you don't need to show up with an idea as cool as mine was. You can just show up excited to hack away on a business plan with other people. I don't know if that was 2 minutes. That was kind of all the cool stuff I had to talk about here. But yeah. See, Brian? That's good. All right, thank you.
Thank you, Eric. Eric's, it's wonderful. Eric's an entrepreneur from Fairbanks. The second year that he's been down here for this. So I need to invite back to the stage all of our contestants. And if we could get up on the screen their names, because we do have the results in here. And we have, we want to recognize our winners. We want to thank them for their tremendous effort. So line on up, folks, please. And unfortunately, you all aren't winners. Wouldn't that be fun, though? In real life, that doesn't quite work that way. You all winners. You guys are awesome for doing that. And Craig, where's Craig? Are you still out there, Craig? Come on up, Craig, and I want you to help me to hand out some of these prizes, please, if you don't mind. And we really appreciate the partnership with our local Juneau Chamber of Commerce. Craig's a great sport. And they raised half the pot this year for us. Thank you all. So do we have our picture from the Olympics? No, we don't have that. Okay. Well, it doesn't matter. But we do have gold, silver, and bronze, which Craig will help me to hand out to the winners. So let me tell you what's going to happen here. We're going to tell you who the first three are, right? And the other three, we want to thank you for participating. Yeah. Exactly. Craig was supposed to do this, but he's letting me do this. So the prizes, yeah, the prizes are, again, as Craig pointed out, for first place and second place, they split the pot. And we raised, with the help of the Juneau Chamber of Commerce, $1,900. So first and second prize, yep. We'll each walk out with $950. And the first prize gets a round-trip ticket anywhere Alaska Airlines flies. There might be an exception to that. Is there, Casey, no Cuba or something? But pretty much anywhere. You don't go to Cuba? Okay, so no Cuba. Definitely no Cuba for her.
That was short-lived.
So with that, Craig, could you do the honors? Sure. With our bronze medal, nod to the Olympics, of course. In third place, we have Alaska Bell. In second place, with the silver medal, we have Wheelhouse. And with a gold medal, in first place in the 2018, should I try to build this up a little more? I want to go home. Just get on with it, Brian. Of the 2018 pitch contest, we have Alaska Food Network. So again, thank you all of you. We do want to shot a photo with all of you, please, if you would, just for the fun of it. It's great. Thank you for doing this. Fantastic sport. Thank you for the Juneau Chamber of Commerce and Craig for being the MC. It's been a great evening. Thank you.